Okay, so the Xbox One. Let's talk about this reveal, shall we? I don't even know where to start with this. Let's start with the name. Xbox One. God, that's such a lame name. That is such a bland, lame name to it. The Xbox One. That's kind of like... I don't even call the original PlayStation the PlayStation 1. I just call it the PlayStation. And then I call the PlayStation 2 the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and the upcoming PlayStation 4 is going to be that, the PlayStation 4. The Xbox One. The name itself is just going to confuse people because they're not going to know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, I got an Xbox One. Well, which Xbox One? You mean the new system? Or do you mean that big black old one with the X shape on it? And I actually heard one person say that the Xbox One was a brilliant idea because 1 is a higher number than 4, like in ranking wise. You know, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So it's going to sound, because it's a lower number, it's going to sound better than like PlayStation 4 or like Xbox 3. What is wrong with you people? I swear, it makes my brain hurt about the naming of it. It's a dumb, bland name. Let's move on to the design of the system. Let's look at this quote unquote innovation in design. They spent there are ads currently running now about how, like, through Wired.com they have like the senior designer of the design staff for the Xbox One, and he talks about how they went through all this stuff in order to design this Xbox One. I have never seen a more bland game system than this. I mean, I look at the Xbox One game. If you take the controller away, it just fades into your entertainment center. Like, literally, if you idea of next generation gaming is to chameleon your system, then congratulations, Microsoft, you did it. It just chameleons it away, you know, because I look at an Xbox One and it looks like it just looks like another bland, it just looks like another bland DVD player, Blu-ray player, cable box, satellite box, DVR, PVR setup. It just looks like everything else. I mean, granted, the Wii U kind of has that same problem with it too. It's just kind of a black, or in some cases white block. I'm not going to lie. The Wii U doesn't have that good of a design to it either. But the Xbox design, it just looks so bland. It literally looks like somebody's Blu-ray player with just this little Xbox logo slapped onto it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they made it. Is that somebody brought in one of their old Blu-ray players and they remolded the casing and went, "There's our new Xbox system." It looks so uninteresting. It's so unappealing. And I know I may sound like an old fogey, maybe because I'm getting older, but I used to know whenever a game system looked like a game system. Without any logo showing, I can point out a Super Nintendo. Without any logo showing, I can point out all 3 models of the Sega Genesis. I can point out a PlayStation 1. You know, all these old systems, Nintendo 64, heck, my GameCube here, the purple lunchbox, okay? You can tell what this is. You can tell what it is, I can tell what it is. From a first glance, I know this is a GameCube. An Xbox, if I were to remove the logos off of an Xbox One, it looks like anything else that you would buy and hook up to your television. And Microsoft said that that's what they're trying to do. It's to be friendly with all your other stuff that you have hooked up to your TV, to your entertainment center. I want my game system to have personality. That's part of what sells it, is its image. I mean, look at the original Xbox. That thing is a brick. And I'm not lying. Like, the original Xbox, because I have to call it the original Xbox now. I can't call it just the Xbox or the Xbox One because it'll confuse people with the new system. So the original Xbox, this was a giant, heavy, black brick with a giant molded X in the center of the console. And that struck me. That was really innovative. It had a design. It had a personality to it. Even the Xbox 360 has a personality to it. It stood upright, and some people laid theirs down. I lay mine down too. But still, it had a personality to it. It had this hourglass figure to it. You know, it was unique. But not with the new Xbox One. And then we get into the real problems with the Xbox One. The things that I'm really not looking forward to. Now, they have come out, and there have been a few updates in, like, the 2 days since the press conference that they helped alleviate a few fears, but not enough. Basically, they basically went, you know, screw you to used games. Because used games are such a plague on the gaming industry. Yes, it's the used games. That's the real problem. That's what's killing the gaming industry. Is the fact that people are buying their games used. I mean, after all, that's what after all, used CDs are what's killing the music industry, and used books are what are killing novelists. But they have a right to complain about used games. I'm being sarcastic, of course. So, basically, every game will come with a registration code. Every Xbox One game will come with a registration code. You have to register your game before you can even play it. And once you register your game, you can't. If you decide to resell that game, if you decide to loan that game out to a friend, heck, if your house has more than one Xbox One, and you hand it to your little brother, or you hand it to your big brother, your big sister, your dad, whoever, to play on a separate Xbox One, they will have to pay for another registration code to play that game. And here's my question is, what if you loan your game to your friend? Let's say, okay, I'm going to use the new Batman game for an example. The new Batman game that's coming out, Batman Arkham Origins. Let's say, okay, I bought Batman Arkham Origins. I tell my friend about it and go, hey man, Batman Arkham Origins, great game. Here's a copy of it. You go home and you play it. He borrows the game from me, goes home, pays whatever the registration fee is, because they haven't announced it yet. But whatever it is, it's going to add up eventually. Because every time you borrow a game, every time you rent a game, every time you buy a used game, you have to buy that registration for it. You have to buy that extra money for it. So let's say it's just 99 cents. That 99 cents is going to add up. Microsoft is going to nickel and dime you to death. So basically, I give Arkham City to Arkham Origins. I give him the new game to my friend. He takes it home. He pays let's say 99 cents, whatever the registration fee is going to be for that game. He plays it. I don't know. He keeps it for about a week. Okay, plays it, beats it, says, "Yeah, man, that was great. I mean, yeah, I had to pay the fee to play it, but here's your game back." I get it back. Now, will my registration code still work on it? Or will I have to pay a registration fee in order to play the game that I've already bought again on my system? That's my question. After he pays his fee to play it on his system, will that be the new registration code for that disc? Will I have to pay a fee to get it back on my system? Or will the registration fee work on both systems now? I want to know this, Microsoft. This is very vital information. Because if every time I loan something out to somebody, that I have to pay another registration fee just to play it again, something that I already own, if I have to pay a registration fee to play it again after I've loaned it to somebody, I'm not going for that at all. Second of all, let's move on to the next big problem with the system. Okay, they have said that you don't have to be online all the time to play the system. Okay, which was a lot of gamers' fears. Because, like, if you work in the military, you can't get Wi-Fi all the time. You can't be online all the time. If you live in the middle of nowhere, where there's spotty internet connection, you can't get online sometimes. If your family's just too poor to pay, you know, what a lot of these companies don't realize is internet connectivity is a luxury. You know, we don't get internet connection for free. It costs money. So if your family's on a strict income during a recession, by the way, that's what we're in the middle of. We are smack dab in the middle of a recession. So there are a lot of families scraping by. Okay, granted, they get their kid, once in a while, they manage to save some money. There's a family member that they have that has a little bit more money. You know, family members scrape together, get the new game system for the family, get that Xbox One. But because internet's a luxury, they can't afford internet. And, you know, if it was online all the time, yeah, now you're holding on to a plastic brick because you can't play it because it's an offline. But they said, no, it doesn't have to be online all the time, which is a good thing. However, in order to play that brand new game you have to go online at least once. You have to go online when you register your new game. Otherwise, it won't work. You have to go online every time you put in a new game for the first time. Brilliant. Another thing is, although you don't have to be online, from what I've heard, Microsoft would like you to be online all the time because they said they will be constantly doing updates and patches to the system throughout the next year or two of its lifespan. If your system needs patches at the get-go, you're designing it wrong! It needs patches and updates. And then the next part is something that's really bugging me. Wired.com and IGN are basically on their knees praising the ground that this system has flopped onto. Like, I'm not joking. Wired.com is doing ads. Wired.com ads proclaiming how ungodly amazing the Xbox One is. All over the internet. Like, anytime you watch a video, 8 out of 10 times, like 9 out of 10 times, right now, as of this recording, there is an ad for the Xbox One sponsored by Wired.com. And the guys in the Wired.com are basically, they are down on their knees, basically just going like, yes, teach us, almighty Xbox One, we worship you. And I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be the angry, ranty guy. Because there's too many angry, ranty guys out there. It's just the system. I have never been so disappointed in a system. I mean, yeah, that's another thing is, IGN and Wired.com are basically praising the ground that the system has landed on. I've already said that. But, you see, that's the thing is, they've been paid to. Basically, Microsoft has paid Wired a crap ton of money to give this positive spin on the system. Meanwhile, just about every reviewer, both amateur and professional, that has heard the announcement are starting to put out videos stating their displeasure with what they've heard so far about the Xbox One. Fans are coming out of the woodworks and saying, you know, I am an Xbox fan, but this has just convinced me to buy a PlayStation 4. I'm not joking. Like, I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it in YouTube comments. I've seen it on professional game website, on the comment section for professional game websites. Yahoo Games. Yeah, you know, yahoo.com. They have their own gaming news section where you can look up gaming news. And whenever they broke the story about the Xbox One requiring you basically killing off any used games for the system, basically, people in them comment section, it's all the same thing. You go down and you keep reading one after another. People are dissatisfied with this. This is getting universally panned. I mean, granted, there are people out there. There are the Microsoft fanboys, and I know even my video will probably get Microsoft fanboy hate from it. That will basically state, you know, oh, you're ignorant. This is why the Xbox One will win the next console wars. But here's the deal. The Xbox One doesn't want to be a game system. It wants to be an entertainment unit. It basically wants to be a cable box. It wants to be a satellite box. And that's what's really ticking me off, because basically Microsoft, if you want to become your own cable provider, then become your own cable provider, please. After all, I have Buckeye Cable here in Ohio, and they suck. I would much prefer somebody else. But, you know, if you want to be your own cable provider, then great, be your own cable provider. Don't lump all this entertainment crap into a video game system. And I get into this, and I hate to rant like this for so long, but it's just everything that I'm hearing about this. Basically, the conference, they spent most of their time talking about all the entertainment crap you can do with this new Xbox One, and nothing, and next to nothing on the games. And I understand you want to save the games for E3. I get that. Okay, if you want to save your exclusives for E3, that's fine. But I really don't care about being able to play a game and watch TV at the same time. I don't care about being able to play a game and Skype at the same time. After all, isn't that already what we do with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3? Isn't there headsets built in? Aren't there like headsets you can buy for those so you can talk while you play your games with other people online? Why is Skype so new? And oh yes, that's just what I wanted to do. You know, I really want to watch I really want to watch television while Skyping, while checking my achievements at the same time. You know, like I said, I may sound like an old man saying this, but remember whenever games were just that? Games? Remember when games were fun? This doesn't sound fun to me. Like, okay, even the consoles that have failed massively, I still want to get those. Like the Atari Jaguar, the 3DO, the TurboGrafx 16. I still want to get all those systems because they all have a novelty to them. There's still things that I can do with them. And there's still a couple of hidden gems on those systems. Like the TurboGrafx 16 has Keith Courage. The Atari Jaguar has Alien vs. Predator. You know, there are still games for those failed systems that there's still a novelty to them. The Xbox One, I don't think I'll ever get, and I feel bad about that. I don't want this game system, and I've never not wanted a game system. I've always wanted to get my hands on a copy of every game system. The Xbox One, I don't want it. And here's my next problem. It's not backwards compatible. Well, that's okay, backwards compatible. Believe it or not, a lot of people are complaining about backwards compatibility. I'm not, because a long time ago, games weren't backwards compatible. You couldn't play NES games on a Super Nintendo. You couldn't play a Super Nintendo cartridge in a N64. You couldn't use an N64 cartridge into the GameCube here. Although I would love to see somebody like mod a GameCube to where you can like strap in an N64 cartridge into it. That would look really weird. That's just what I'm saying is, you know, backwards compatibility doesn't bother me. Oh, but wait, the Wii U's backwards compatible. And they have announced, oh, well, some Xbox 360 games will be backwards compatible through cloud. So, basically, that means you'll have to rebuy your 360 games so that you can download them to your system. To your Xbox One system. So, basically, you're going to hit me up twice for, say, Red Dead Redemption. Basically, I've already bought it for my Xbox 360, but if I want to play it on my Xbox One, I'll have to purchase it through cloud service and download it to my Xbox One in order to play it again, if I get rid of my 360. Once again, another nickel and diming. Another thing that they told us, you will be able to transfer profiles, gamer scores, and achievements from your Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. However, any Xbox Live arcade games you bought will not transfer to the Xbox One. Meaning, if you have a copy of Super Meat Boy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Castle Crashers, guess what? You gotta buy them again! And here comes the worst part about the system. Due to the registration code deal, due to the fact that you will have to be online and register the game every time you buy it, whether it's new or used. Whether you will always have to register every game before you play it. This means that once the system's lifespan is up, let's hop forward into the future. Let's time travel here into the future about 8 or 9 years whenever Microsoft reveals its next game console. Basically, you have just created landfill with these systems because nobody's going to want to buy them used. No reputable game store is going to buy them used. GameStop and like the smaller independent used game places aren't going to buy your old Xbox Ones once the online service for that system is shut down. Because here's the deal. Whatever games you registered to that system when you sell it at the end of its lifespan, those are the only games, those exact copies are the only games that are going to play on that system. So basically you'll have to bundle them all together, meaning everything will have to be sold as one unit. Which means if you have a game, if you have a racing game, and you're with your Xbox One and you're trying to sell them together, and the person who wants it doesn't like racing games, they're stuck with it. Like I said, with this registration fee, once the system goes down, once the next generation of consoles come out after this one that's coming up, the Xbox One will be useless because there will be no way to register any games to it. There will be no way to register any used games to it because the service won't exist anymore. So basically, we will have a mountain of plastic wasted. Do you see what I'm getting at? Basically, you won't be able to resell the system, you won't be able to resell the games, so what's the point? Basically, you've just created an ecological disaster, Microsoft, because once your system's done and over with, everybody's just going to pitch them because they can't use them anymore. And then we get into... let's go back. Let's go into the specs next, okay? The hard drive. It has a 500 gigabyte hard drive. Oh my god, what is wrong with you? Only 500 gigabytes. Okay, you have to install your game onto your system. Okay, I have about 70 games over here for my Xbox 360. So let's say you have 70 Xbox One games, okay? You've registered all of these games. All of these game registries are taking up space on your Xbox One's hard drive. All of the save game data is taking up space on your Xbox One's hard drive. All of the Xbox Live arcade games are taking up space on this hard drive. All of the DLC for these games are taking up space on the hard drive. Do you know how fast 500 gigabytes will be eaten up once the system really gets rolling? Next thing I want to talk about is, they say that for 2014 that there's going to be about 12 games released for the system. Okay, out of those 12 games, 8 of them are supposed to be new titles, new franchises. Okay, no problem. How many of those 12 games do you honestly believe are going to be exclusives? It's not going to be all 12. No, it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 of them. The other 8 games will probably work both on the PlayStation 4 and the Wii U. So, yeah, you're going to have to deal with that problem next. And, you know, I'm not talking as a fanboy. I'm not defending Sony. I'm not defending Nintendo. I mean, I'm just speaking out, trying to be as biased as possible. But these are some really head-scratchingly bad ideas. I mean, I understand the registration codes. They're stupid, but I understand them. It's a way to cut down on piracy. Well, then you should work out better security measures on your system, because guess what? Once the Xbox One comes out, piracy is going to be even worse on the Xbox One than it will ever have been on the Xbox 360, because guess what? The people who are going to mod the systems, are going to hack the systems, are going to do all that stuff, are doing it for one reason: to make the game systems more accessible. Basically, they're going to mod one of the first things they're going to do is mod the system so that way you, Microsoft, can't detect that the system has been modded, and that you, Microsoft, cannot detect that it is playing a used game that is not registered to that system. That's going to be the first things that get modded on that game, on this new game system. And they're going to post how to do it online. It will be up everywhere on how to do it. Once somebody gets the specs, figures out, if I do this, if I hook it up to my computer, install this software, if I mod this, if I remove this chip and replace it with this chip, then the system will not, the game will play without having to register it. It's going to be everywhere. So needless to say, I mean, like I said, one of my favorite things is the one Wired commercial. Absolutely floors me because it's so stupid. So basically, it's another one of the Wired commercials for the Xbox One. Basically, this bald guy comes on and he's like, "Wow, Jan, I've been playing Xbox all day, having fun with it, but uh-oh, it's time for NFL. So I want to watch the game, but I can't remember what channel the game's on." And she comes on with like this super peppy smile on her face. She kind of reminds me of Flo from the Allstate commercials, only like with her like pep levels ratcheted up to like 11. And she's like, "Well, don't worry. With the new Xbox One, you don't even have to look up you don't have to remember what channel your game's on. Just say this: Xbox One, ESPN." And basically, yeah. And so it automatically switches to ESPN because it's hooked up to your cable system. Oh, I can look up ESPN on my regular cable box. This is just basically stating you need 2 boxes now to apparently work your cable. Why? Why? And then they gloat about, oh, a hands-free controller for your cable system. Yeah, basically you talk into your Xbox in order to get it to, you talk into your Xbox One in order to change channels on your cable box. Okay, can anybody point out the problem with the voice recognition on the Kinect? Because this is another big thing. With the Xbox One comes the Kinect 2, which is required And you have to have the Kinect 2 plugged into your Xbox One at all times. It has to be plugged in. Why? The Kinect sucks. Plain and simple. The games that were made for it, out of all the Kinect games that were made for it, the Gunstringer is really the only game that I can think of off the top of my head that's actually worth it. All of the other Kinect games have been panned critically. Zumba Fitness, panned. Kinect Sports, panned. Dragon Ball Kinect, panned. Everybody has complained about Kinect games. None of them care for them. It was a failure. And rather than write off your failure and go, well, that didn't work, let's go back to the drawing board, you went, let's upgrade it. We'll give it a wider radius. That way people can, this way people can be farther away from the Kinect and still get it to work right. And basically, I've seen the reviews. I've seen the hands-on footage for the Kinect, where people are shouting right up against the Kinect. They're basically, they start off like at the back of the room saying, Kinect Xbox Live, and it'll get confused and won't connect to Xbox Live. And then they'll get closer and go, Kinect Xbox Live, and it won't connect to Xbox Live, until they're basically up against the Kinect, screaming at it, Xbox Live! So imagine that with imagine having that controlling your cable. Whenever you're basically like, Xbox One, Cartoon Network. Xbox One, Cartoon Network. Sorry about that. My card got full. That's how long I've been ranting about this. So yeah, they're focusing more and more on the entertainment. And one of the things about the conference was they brought in Steven Spielberg. Oh, great. Steven Spielberg. Basically, Steven Spielberg's going to produce a Halo TV series, which you can watch on your Xbox One. Hooray. I mean, I don't know about a Halo TV series. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be live action with some really cheap made-for-TV CGI. For like the Covenant, I figured that the Covenant are going to all be done in like TV budget CGI. But basically, yeah, Steven Spielberg's going to do this Halo TV series, which you can watch on your Xbox One. But like I said, they focused so much on the entertainment aspects of the system and less on it being a game system. And that's what I really want. I want a game system. Because a lot of people are like, oh, and like I said, I know people are going to defend it. You are gonna defend. If you're a ravaging Xbox fanboy, you're going to be trying your best to defend the system, and I really hope you do. I really hope that there's something out there that makes the system worthwhile, because as it stands now, I just don't want it. And I just plan on not getting it. I don't plan on getting a PlayStation 4 this year. I don't plan on getting a PlayStation 4 next year. Due to the fact that next year I graduate from college, I need to get a new PC, I need to look for a new job once I get out of college. So I have a lot of things, a lot of expenses, and I won't have much of an entertainment budget next year. So the PlayStation 4 for me will probably have to wait until 2015. But as it stands right now, I have a feeling I'll buy a PlayStation 4 long before I buy an Xbox One. In fact, I will probably never buy an Xbox One if Microsoft keeps in place everything that they are planning on doing to it, that they have already revealed to it. If they keep all this in place, I don't want this system. Which is a shame, because I like the Xbox 360. I thought it was a good, solid system. Oh, and another thing, by the way. I don't have a black Sharpie. You know, it's just so bad. Another thing about the name, the Xbox One. The Xbox One. Do you get it? I can't believe a company is so egotistical thinking that by putting this stuff in place that people are complaining about, that they're going to call their system the One, that they're going to proclaim that they basically, this next console generation, they're going to be the big dog on top again, that they're going to be, you know, the be-all, end-all. Well, with these features, and more people saying that they're going to jump to the PlayStation 4, are you really going to do that, Microsoft? Basically, whenever Sony has confirmed with fans, yeah, you'll be able to play used PlayStation 4 games without any cost. Oh, let me bring up another fact. Back to the whole Microsoft nickel and diming you. Okay, we've already talked about the cost of registering the games, all the buying the brand new games, the cost of downloading games, the cost of registering games, all those little Microsoft, all that nickel and diming. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't the Xbox 360 the only system that requires a monthly membership fee to play your games online? Basically, if you play Lost Planet 2 or Call of Duty on your 360, you have to have an Xbox Live, like, gold membership or a silver membership or something like that. So there's another fee for you. Meanwhile, PlayStation 3 owners, Wii owners, can play online for free. PlayStation 4 owners, Wii U owners, once again, can play online for free. So, will the Xbox One finally let people play online for free? Oh, if you believe that, you are so naive. So I've aired my grievances with this just lackluster looking system. This thing that that Microsoft is so boastful about. I've basically taken all this time to talk about it and how much I dislike it. And basically, there are people who are crying out against Nintendo and the Wii U, and how the Wii U is a failure, and Nintendo should go back to the drawing board and abandon the system already. Well, guess what? The same fans are going to be crying out the same thing with the PlayStation 4 and with the 360, because no game systems have that many exclusives once they launch. You know, the first year of a game system's lifespan sucks. It always has. Like, it took me a year to get a PlayStation 2. I had to wait until a year after the PlayStation 2 was out before I bought one. It was 2 years before I bought a GameCube. I got a Dreamcast at the end of the Dreamcast lifespan. You know, it's because basically that first year, actually the first 2 years really, you don't have much to play on a new game system. You just basically buy it, say you're the first that got it, and to play some of the few exclusives that are out there. You know, yeah, the Wii U doesn't have much. I admit that. Nintendo Land, ugh. Nintendo Land is definitely not worth the price. But like I said, I'm still waiting on the Wii U. I'm still waiting for those games that make it a must-buy. You know, because you know they're going to be there. There's going to be the next Zelda game. There's going to be the next 3D Mario game. There are rumors of another Metroid game for the Wii U. There's a new Smash Brothers coming out, you know. So there will be games for that. And will there be games that we will want exclusive games for the Xbox One? Probably. But with all this extra crap that we don't need, Like, I have a cable box. I have a DVR. I don't need another one. I just want a game system to play games. And with that, I guess I'm done. Till next time, fans.